Hey, what is going on everybody, and welcome to Fantasia. For today, we're going to be jumping into another session of Epic 7 out today. Got some more balance adjustment showcases for you guys. This time around, we're going to be taking a look at Schniel, who was touted to be like a Perfumer Bibulus counter, right, when she was first released, but he kind of fell short of doing the job. But now that he's been buffed, it looks like he's going to be a lot more viable, but how viable will he actually be? That's the question we're going to answer today. Let's take a look at his kit here. I do have his skills at plus 15. You do not need to plus 15 his skills. I'd recommend going up to plus 6 on his skill 3. You definitely want to get the plus 1 on his skill 2, and on his skill 1 you want to go for a plus 6 as well to get that maximum combat readiness gain, because that's where a lot of his utility comes from. The changes to his kit here are pretty significant. Actually, they kind of reworked how he functions. So on his skill 1 now, he does provide himself and the ally with the highest attack 15% combat readiness whenever he attacks here, which means you could potentially be running him on something like a counter set, and you can push up your allies a bit more. You can also pair him with Sacred Tree Branch or other artifacts to push up combat readiness too, if you so desire. His skill 2, now, he still kind of counters like poison and venom and all that stuff with his cleanse, but cleanse now, once he dispels all debuffs and cleanses everybody, he grants immunity and indomitable for 1 turn. The Indomitable here is actually new. It's pretty good. It gives the defense and effect resist, right, for the team 30%. It's undispellable. It's new in his kit, and it kind of synergizes with his skill 3, right? So his skill 3 still does fixed damage. They actually upped the fixed damage here, so now it's going to be 5,000 fixed damage, and it's regardless of whether the attack hits or not. So into evasion teams, he's actually going to be pretty decent, right, in terms of hitting them for some damage. Just keep in mind, damage share and stuff kind of hurts him a little bit if you're trying to target like a single unit to focus down here. But he does grant a defense buff and a barrier to all allies for 2 turns. This is proportional to his max health, so you want to get as much HP on him as possible. Now, when it comes to fixed damage, it used to be that every time you use his skill 3, it'll ramp up damage, right, every single time you use it. But now he only really needs the Indomitable buff to greatly increase the damage that is dealt. And that's actually not bad at all, seeing as you could pair him with a unit like Empyrean Ilinov to give him that Indomitable buff, right, without your opponent having to trigger your poison or venom and all that stuff to get your passive going. The only issue outside of that is if you don't have Empyrean Ilinov and your opponent doesn't use any poison or venom skills, then Schniel is kind of a sitting duck. The great thing about him is that he does dispel buffs now at the start of every turn. 1 debuff from 2 allies, right? 1 debuff each. So he does kind of have this kind of sort of like a Nurse Yolha passive, except he has to take the turn himself, but that's why he has the combat readiness to help him cycle through, right? To better understand how he works here, let's go ahead and take a look at his build. I decided to go for a kind of middling speed build, on the slower side of things, I'd say. The effect res could potentially be cut down to about 100 for a bit more HP, maybe a bit more defense. You just want him to be bulky enough to survive in the long term, because when you draft him, you're not drafting him into cleave teams and stuff like that. You're drafting him into tank down teams that have Perfumer Bibulus and other units like DDR on the other side, right? So you definitely want him to stay alive in the long run to provide healing and cleansing. I'm running Guardian Ice Crystals for the additional healing, get some extra effect res here, which is kind of a little cherry on top. But yeah, this is going to help keep your team alive. He doesn't really have healing in his kit, just a bit of cleansing, so this kind of makes up for it here. You could also run something like Celestine for some healing as well, especially on a counter build where you're going to be kind of attacking more with your skill 1. But what I opted to do is go for a Pursuit set, which increases additional damage dealt by 20%, so that 5k damage there is going to be 6k damage, right? Not too shabby. Every little bit of damage counts, especially if there's damage share going on, right? That's an additional 4k damage onto the opponent's team. It's pretty hefty. But we're currently running him on a full HP percent on the right side here. Speed set helps to make up for the lack of a speed boot here, but I think he doesn't really need all that much speed to function. If you wanted to be faster, you can definitely do so and allow him to kind of cleanse debuffs more. I opted to go for higher effect res, so hopefully he doesn't get debuffed by the opponents, and then he can kind of cleanse the rest of your DPS units, right? So that's kind of the idea behind him here, but hey, enough talking. Let's go ahead and check him out in action. Wow, guys, the gang is almost all here. Look at all these recently buffed units joining Schniel in this fight. Estelle's just kind of tagging along for some damage mitigation, but we're going to be testing Schniel into the one and only Perfumer Bibulus, the one that's been causing so much havoc in the last season of RTA, especially during the first, like, I'd say half to 2/3 of the meta before things shifted to pure aggro and cleave, right? She's still a really powerful unit, and we're going to use Schniel against her to see how this works out. Normally in RTA though, your opponent would just not click the skill 3 button, but here my opponents will be because the AI is going to be controlling them. We're going to bring in Faithless Litica to control the Notos, and then we're just going to hope that Little Queen Charlotte can bonk this Arbiter Vildred and inflict extinction. Otherwise, we're going to be eating a lot of damage from my opponent's side. But yeah, let's go ahead and see how this pans out here. We do have immunity on the Notos, but that's why we have a skill 2 with our Faithless Litica to strip him. And now we're going to soul burn our skill 3 as well to make sure that this Notos doesn't take a turn. This ignores res, make sure that we get fully reset on him so we do not have to worry about him at all. There you go, fully reset the Notos here. Skill nullifier for the team, which is great because Arbiter Vildred's going to be coming in, and that's going to be quite a hefty amount of damage, right? There you go, look at that, beautiful stuff. Immunity on the Little Queen Charlotte helping to protect us as well. And I can come in here and soul burn this, guys. So I'm hoping that this is going to be enough damage for the RB through the damage share. I'm going to soul burn so that we, there you go, beautiful stuff, guys. Look at that damage. Absolutely amazing. Perfumer Bibulus is still alive because of that immortality here. But you know what, with Schniel, you just pop that skill 3, because when that Perfumer Bibulus goes, you'll reset your skills. So there's no reason to hold on to the skill 3 here. Just pop it, even though the damage share is going to be there. It's all good. You get that defense buff, you get that barrier. Look at that, just protecting the team, making everyone so much more resilient, yeah? And we're going to see the Bibulus now pop that skill 3 here. And it's a good thing that Schniel doesn't buff immunity with his skill 3. He buffs it with the skill 2, because look at this. We proc, we're going to cleanse, we get the immunity, we get the Indomitable, which is huge, and then we can just go into our opponents here, right? I'm going to try to randomly dual attack. Oh, nice job, LQC, into the Notos. Defense broken Notos is always great for us. Let's go ahead and soul burn the Estelle, try to get as much injury onto this guy as possible. Soul burning to decrease our skill cooldowns. And let's see if LQC can finish him off. Very good. He does come back with Holy Sacrifice, but at this point, we've garnered so much advantage that I don't think we're going to be in danger of losing. Still focused down the Notos, though. Definitely don't want him to do shenanigans here, right? And yeah, with Schniel, guys, look at this. We get Indomitable, so let's see how much damage we actually do with him. We'll just go ahead and skill 3. You can soul burn it with 10 souls to increase your barrier. I guess we'll test that later on when we need it. Oh, whoa. Hang on, guys. I know we have Pursuit set, but I didn't expect us to do 18,000 damage with Schniel there. Wow, that's insane. I guess his skill 3 with the Indomitable does 15k damage, and then with the Pursuit set adding like 3k on top of that gives us the 18k. That is very dangerous. Alright guys, let's go ahead and move on into another match here. Going up against this Notos team with Mort, Arnell, and Bibulus. It's actually quite frightening here, but we're going to do our best to kind of control the Notos as we always have been with our Faithless Litica here. But I thought it'd be a really fun opportunity to bring in Ice Tywin, because canonically, Schniel and Tywin have a whole story arc together, right? And so Tywin actually does have use here. He's carrying Aureus for some damage mitigation, but this Arnell is going to attack and inflict fear onto your team, and Tywin's immune to things that prevent movement like fear, stun, and sleep. But if anyone in the backline is also inflicted with that debuff, he will cleanse them and give them a ginormous barrier to work with as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to use Flitica in the backline. We're going to cleanse her so that she can deal so she can reset Notos, kind of do her thing. And we're also going to bring in Roy, just because I can. We have a little military theme going on, so why not, right? He is actually going to be able to tank the RNL, which is okay if she decides to attack into him here. So she does. Oh, she goes into the Tywin instead. Whoa, this might not be good, because if Tywin goes down, we might not be able to cleanse the backline unit here. Hang on just a second. This might be a really bad idea. Uh-oh, he does go down. Wait a minute. That is unfortunate, but somehow my opponent's Perfume Bibulus is incredibly fast, and that actually allows Schniel to do his thing. So unfortunately, Tywin went down, not doing anything. There's a reason why nobody uses him, right? But Flitica gonna be doing her job here. Let's go ahead and reset the Notos. Thankfully, Flitica did survive, because we have the stealth. There we go. Fully reset the opponent's Notos here. Wonderful stuff. And at this point, I think we can probably just focus down the Mort. Notos isn't really gonna be doing anything, and look at that. Getting that injury onto the Mort is fantastic. Look at that puny little barrier that my opponent has right now. Wonderful stuff. Let's go for a skill 3. I don't know if this is enough damage to actually finish off the RNL. It's about, what, 18k damage, right? And there's no damage sharing going on. Okay, our skill nullifiers are helping us. Ooh, look at that, guys. Look at that. The RNL is so low now. But the issue is our immunity only lasts for 1 turn. So, yeah, we're gonna get feared, unfortunately, by my opponent. Schniel taking some hits from the RNL, which is wonderful. Let's go ahead and finish her off. I think she is the biggest threat right now. Get rid of her here. Beautiful stuff. Unfortunately, that does cause a cleanse, no more laceration on my opponent, but look at all the damage we've already inflicted. Feeling pretty good about this. Yeah, let's go for a skill 1. Unfortunately, we're dual attacking with Schniel. That's okay, we're still in stealth. Schniel cleansing the debuffs, by the way, which is wonderful. Let us go for a hit onto the Notos, I guess. There we go, pushing up the Roy. Beautiful stuff, which means we can come in with a skill 3. Roy should be able to finish off the Mort here. Maybe everybody. Maybe everybody. Ooh, down goes the Bibulus. Mort comes back. That's okay. Guardian Ice Crystals keeping the Schniel alive. You see the healing, right? It's not bad. We're going to go with a skill 3 onto the Flitica. Can't be countered. And then we're going to skill 2. We're going to reset the Mort. I think that's probably for the best here. This will give us a skill nullifier. Notos has 5 turns until he can use a skill 3, so we're going to be very much safe against him there. Let's go with a skill 1 into the Mort. Take him out, and Roy should be able to take care of this Notos here, and there you guys have it. I want to say, like, it was a pretty decent match, but we were fighting 3v4 here. Tywin didn't do anything, unfortunately. Maybe he'll be the next one to be buffed, who knows? Now, I don't want every single match with Schniel here to be up against a Perfumer Bibulus team, because it's not really going to be super accurate in showcasing how he's going to function, right, in RTA, because your opponent's just not going to pop their skill 3. In this case, though, I can't pass up on this opportunity. Look at this evasion-based team with Setsuka, Swift Flagbearer Sigrid, right, she has evasion for a couple turns at the start of the match. Perfumer Bibulus is here, yeah, but there's a Freerin as well, one of my arch nemesis, right, in RTA. Hate fighting her, but Schniel with fixed damage might be a potential solution, especially because we're going to be tanking down here a little bit against the Freerin. I do have Empyrean Ilina for defense penetration resistance. She also has Indomitable that she can give the Schniel at any point to allow him to do his full skill 3 damage, right? We also have Estelle on our side, which is going to be kind of nice for damage sharing effects, and I decided to bring in Dragon King Sharoon because if we're going for this fixed damage shenanigans, why not? We're going to cleanse the fear off of the team from Swift Flagbearer Sigrid, and we should be good. But if we're, you know, in a kind of sticky situation with the Setsuka, Schniel should provide us a bit of utility here, in that he can cleanse the debuffs from Setsuka pretty quickly, right? As long as he can turn cycle. So let's see what happens from this match here. We have Swift Flagbearer Sigrid going first, skill 3, right? We do get Dragon King Sharoon cleansing, we get the Cascade, which is awesome. This will deal fixed damage to my opponent, right? So this is definitely going to help us out a little bit already in terms of fighting the Freerin. Let's go for the skill 3 there. That's not bad. Attack down and unbuffable on the Freerin. Wow, she's hardly going to deal any damage then. That's pretty cool. I'll take it. Freerin skill 3 comes out. There we go. Very nice. And Estelle does counter. That's more fixed damage onto the Freerin. And here we go, guys. Perfumer Bibulus going with the skill 3. And Schniel is going to cleanse here. That is going to be very, very nice. Setsuka, unfortunately, is going to debuff us, though. But the good thing is Schniel doesn't need to hit in order to get his, whatchamacallit, fixed damage, right? So yeah, there we go. My opponent is going to be attacking into the Estelle, but thankfully, Guardian Ice Crystal is actually healing us up a little bit there. Let us go for... Oh, we're in big trouble, aren't we? If we miss on anyone, we might die. So I'm going to go for a skill 3 onto the Perfumer Bibulus. This will cleanse the debuffs off the rest of my team. Hopefully we don't miss. Okay, I think we might have... Nope, we didn't miss. Okay, good. There's been a bug where sometimes you don't see the miss text come up, but it does count as a miss. Alright, very cool, very cool. We're gonna eat some damage, but that's okay. Oh, wait, was it a miss? Did Setsuka... Okay, I have no idea what's going on anymore, but down goes Estelle. It is fine. She comes back. And Empyrean Ilanov, huh? Okay, let's just go for the... Swift Flagbearer's Sigrid there. Okay, so now Schniel can come in. We have a Cascade too, which is kind of nutty. Let's see how much damage we do. Skill 3 here. This should finish off everybody on the other side except the Setsuka because she has Immortality. It's gonna counter me, but that's fine. We have a defense buff and barrier. There you go. There's the cleanse, but too little too late. Oh my god, guys. 21k damage. Now that's what I'm talking about. That is pretty good. Let's go for the skill 1. She didn't dodge, that is great. And we should be able to finish off the Setsuka here. Even on miss, I think my Estelle's strong enough to do so with 31k health. There you go, just barely scraping by. But that, guys, that was pretty satisfying with the Schniel and the Cascade buff together. But moving forward, let's try to not just target Perfumer Bibulus teams. Okay, moving on here, we're gonna forego fighting Perfumer Bibulus, and we're gonna try to just take Empyrean Ilanov with Schniel into this rather evasive team on the right side, because Schniel does not care about evasion when it comes to his fixed damage, which is really nice. I really hope that moving forward we do see units start to inflict debuffs on themselves a bit more. Think about like Rinok inflicting stun on herself after a skill 3, right? It's really cool because it works with her animations and all that stuff, but she also then synergizes with things like Dragon King Sharoon, right? And then she can cleanse the stun and then push up, give your team Cascade. And I think it's really interesting for Smilegate to maybe explore that route moving forward. And I would love to see, for example, Schniel be able to proc off of, let's say a unit on your side is like inflicting venom or a poison on themselves, right? Maybe they inflict a bunch of debuffs to everyone on your opponent's team, but they themselves also get inflicted by some poison gas effect or something like that. I don't know. Just throwing that out there, Smilegate. It's pretty cool, right? But then Schniel can proc off of that. You get Indomitable, you get the cleanse. There's just some cool synergy that can happen in those situations, right? And I would just love to see that. Units kind of having a downside to their skills that maybe teammates can help nullify. But my opponent now is, oh man, they're going to be such a resilient team here. I don't know how I'm really going to be fighting this, but let's go for a skill 3. Let's go for it into the Setsuka. We'll try to chip her down as much as possible here. There's no reason to hit the Estelle. Because the Estelle, I mean, because Schniel here is going to be dealing so much damage that Estelle is going to just go bye-bye, right? So here we go, Schniel with the Indomitable already. We get a defense buff for the team. That does stack, by the way, the defense from the defense buff and the Indomitable buff. Okay, yeah, there you go. Estelle just absolutely evaporated there. Nothing that my opponent can do to stop that. She is going to try to revive and try to attack and stuff, but it's okay. We have Albad Ludwig coming in very, very shortly. Ooh, do we want to hit the Setsuka here? I think it's best to hit the Estelle. 50% chance of missing. We do miss, though. Setsuka proccing that Lethal Whispers. But again, look at how tanky our team is, right? We're looking good so far. Let's go for a skill 3. This will silence my opponent, even if we didn't hit this Setsuka here. Come on. Okay, there, we got the silence, very cool. Even if we didn't land the silence there, it would have been okay, because the Setsuka's debuffs, we can cleanse with Schniel over time, right? There we go. Got rid of the Setsuka through the damage here. That's fantastic. The Estelle should go down as well. Beautiful stuff. Yeah, just going fixed damage with things like Rocket Punch Gauntlet on the Bossa Room, but with things like Ludwig too. It's just super consistent, guys. Look at that. Look at that. It's beautiful. Let's let Ludwig go. Extra attack there. And there you guys have it. So much fixed damage. You don't really even need a traditional like DPS unit in order to finish off some teams, which is kind of wild. Okay guys, let's jump into another one here. This time around, there is a Perfumer Bibulus on the other side, but I thought it would be a pretty cool demonstration to fight like a Tori as well, because Tori does have the damage limit buff that's kind of built into her passive, right? Can't take more than 51% of her max health as damage, making her kind of difficult to deal with at times. However, Schniel with the fixed damage kind of bypasses it. There is a Estelle though that we have to watch out for. It's a little bit annoying, but it's okay. We'll go for a little skill 3 action, see if we can maybe hit the RB. I think we do miss on him there. Unfortunate, he does counter. Whoa, wait a minute. That is a counter Tori? Oh my god, guys. That is, that's actually kind of wild. I did not expect a counter Tori to be coming out here. Okay, well, let's push up our team. We have Indomitable here as well before we even take a turn, so kind of good. I really don't want to hit the Tori, because then that's going to proc the Estelle here. I'm going to hit the Perfumer Bibulus instead, because Estelle's going to go down regardless from all the shared damage from what's about to happen here. So we'll just go for it. Let's go for Schniel's skill 3. This will give us a defense buff, and it's going to be kind of nice, because then we kind of protect ourselves from the Arbiter Vildred that's inevitable here. Unless he goes down. He does not go down, but Tori does. Look at that, guys. The Estelle was not able to share enough damage there to protect the Tori. And now look at this. Schniel's going to proc. Very cool. Immortality. And look at this Briar Witch. Actually kind of protected here. We're going to go for... I'm kind of weary of this Arbiter Vildred and stuff. So yeah, let's go for this. This will proc the cleansing and stuff, the healing, it's okay. Bunny Dom now is kind of worthless because Tori went down, so you know we don't really have anything to do with her now. No extra turn units on the other side, but Arby's gonna skill 3, that's okay. Look at Briar Witch, guys, staying alive. Vigor buff with the 30% defense, 30% more defense from Indomitable, plus 60% defense from the defense buff. Oh, she's doing pretty good. The only issue is we need to make sure this Arbiter Vildred goes down, and the only way to do that is to try to focus down this Estelle here. But she is going to counter, unfortunately, which gives the team a nice chunky barrier. I don't know if Schniel's actually going to be able to do it with this skill 3 here, but that's okay. He's going to go for the Briar Witch. Oh, we still don't go down. That's actually kind of wild that we still didn't go down there. Okay, let us go for Schniel's skill 3. I'm going to soul burn this. Let's check out his barrier that he gets from this soul burn. How strong is it going to be? Oh, that's a decent barrier, right? It's a pretty decent barrier there, not too shabby. But unfortunately, Estelle did not go down yet, so let's try our best to take her out here. Let's do another hit onto the Estelle. Nice defense break, that's pretty big. Let's go for a skill 1 onto the Estelle. Almost got her here, guys. Okay, and Schniel, please. Oh, he does take out the Estelle. That is huge. Let us go for a skill 3 now to push up the team a little bit. Hopefully we hit the Arbiter Vildred. We do. So hopefully he doesn't counter here. Very nice. Defense break on the RB. Let's go for a skill 3. This should provide us a bit more of a heal. A little bit of a push. There you go. So Bryceria is still staying alive. RB unfortunately throws the debuffs back onto my team. It's okay though, we're just gonna wait for Schniel to kind of proc here, right? Bibulus should have her skill 3 up. Yeah, she does. Okay, so we're just gonna wait this out. Don't finish off the Bibulus, please. And look at that, look at the cleanse. We got the 2 defense breaks cleansed off here with the Schniel. That's pretty good. And we'll have Bunny Dom go here. And there we go. We do get another cleanse here with the Schniel, which means we have another skill 3. Let's see how much damage we do against the Arbiter Vildred. He's gonna dodge, but hoping we're going to be alright. He can't throw debuffs back on us now because we have immunity. So, not the worst idea to maybe hit him, but I don't want him to revive. So I'm going to just hit the Bibulus instead. There's the cleanse, there's the heal. But without, guys, without the Estelle on the other side, is Arbiter Vildred going to survive? Let's see. Skill 3 coming out. We have Indomitable. Oh, he does survive. What in the world is his RB build, guys? 17k damage, and he's still alive. I know there's lingering fragrance, but that's a little bit wild, isn't it? That's kind of crazy. Sleep means we guarantee the hit here. Beautiful. Defense break is nice too. How much HP does this guy have? 26k HP Arbiter Vildred. That is crazy shenanigans. Alright, let's go for a skill 3. And I hope that this doesn't hit the Briar Witch. Oh, it doesn't. Very cool. We do crit him. Nice barrier on the Briar Witch Assyria. Let's go for a skill 3. And guys, this should be it. This should be it against the Arbiter Vildred. Wow, that is something I did not expect, like, at all. Schniel's skill 3 wasn't killing, and I was kind of confused, because it got the Tori, right? And usually Arby is pretty squishy. Next round over here, up against a Tidal Rift Elvira, which means we're going to bring in Little Queen Charlotte to fight her. We have guaranteed crits, which means we bypass the complete 100% anti-crit that Elvira has, which is wonderful. There's a Notos on the other team too, which means Faceless Litica is going to come in, and she's going to be amazing at resetting the Notos, so we don't have to worry about him, at least for a while. We don't know who's going to be in the front line. It's going to be randomized. I'm in Emperor Arena right now, so whoever is going to be in the front line here is going to be taking a brunt of the damage. Now, I am bringing Empyrean Ilanov, and the reason is because this Elvira does have full defense penetration in her kit, but she does almost no damage if you have Ilanov on your team. I think this is a great showcase for Ilanov and Schniel together, because both of them have cleansing, and Elvira has a bunch of debuffs, Setsuka too, but Schniel also, you know, there's no Perfumer Bibulus on the other side. We're going to rely on the Indomitable buff from the Empyrean Ilanov in order to get his big skill 3 nuke off. But again, his nuke is not necessarily the strongest part of his kit. That's kind of a bonus. I think it's a cherry on top. The rest of his kit is actually pretty good at keeping debuffs off your team. The cleansing, the CR pushing, I think it's pretty decent overall. Guardian Ice Crystals is also a nice passive way for you to heal, right, when you're getting attacked. So Flitica's currently on Abad Orb. I like to run Abad Orb if you know that she's going to be going first, because those 10 souls allow you to soul burn here. Now, there's a chance that we miss. Thankfully, we didn't miss, right? 70% chance to hit with the Setsuka on the other side, so there you go. Get that reset on him. And now my opponent's going to push up that Tidal Rift Elvira, but it's okay, right? It's alright. We are going to be getting Curse on our Flitica here, and ooh, Little Queen Charlotte going to be taking the hit here. It is fine. Hardly any damage whatsoever. The Empyrean Ilanov helping us quite a bit there, right? And so now we can Soul Burn. We can actually Soul Burn into this Elvira if we really wanted to. I think we do. I think we do. I don't know if we can actually finish her off through the damage share. Oh, but we came close, guys. That was really, really close. I don't know if I want to skill 3 right now, actually. Because if I skill 3 right now, when we get the Indomitable buff up, we're not going to be able to skill 3 again. So I'm just going to skill 1 here. Right? It would have been nice to skill 3 just to get the defense buff and the barrier and everything, but I think we're going to be okay. Let's go for a skill 3 here. Let's cleanse the Little Queen Charlotte. We'll get a barrier with my Rise of Monarch. It's the artifact here on our, there we go, Rise of Monarch proccing on our Empyrean Ilanov. Unfortunately, Little Queen Charlotte's defense broken, but we might be okay. I'm going to go for a dual attack here. Oh, there you go. That's nice. Got the immunity back up on our Little Queen Charlotte, only for it to be stripped by the Setsuka. That's kind of sad. It's okay, though. Let us try to go for the Elvira here. Nice crit. Beautiful. Unfortunately, Cascade granted to my opponents, but it's fine. We're going to go for the skill 3. We have Indomitable, guys. We are going to be dealing big damage here. However... Oh, okay. No counter from the Setsuka there. That's kind of good. So now we have Indomitable and a defense buff. I'm going to attack into the Notos. There's a counter, unfortunately. There you go, we get hit, but look at that. The defense buff and Indomitable together is actually keeping Faithless Litica alive. I don't know how she's doing that, but hey, it's great. Good for us. Okay, we're gonna go with the skill 1. I'm gonna try to attack the Notos here. Alright, there we go. We're gonna get countered, but it's okay. Little Queen Charlotte's damage mitigation is also super nice. Let's go for a skill 2. This is great. My opponent cannot counterattack this, and this gives us a chance to skill 3 now. Yet again, this does give us a skill nullifier. I don't think there's no point in soul burning this because Notos is still 5 turns away from doing his skill 3. But I'm just gonna do this for the skill null. And there's no point in hitting Setsuka because then she's gonna counter and finish us off. So we'll go for this, into the Notos. There we go. Little Queen Charlotte can now soul burn. We can get rid of the Setsuka here. And yeah, just a little bit of sustain that the Schniel and the Ilinov bring to the team is actually not bad. I don't know if they're like a core draft component. Like I wouldn't base a whole team between just these two in every single match, but I think when the circumstances call for it, it's not a terrible option, right, to have them both together. Again, cleansing, mitigation, fixed damage, right, with the Indomitable synergy. It's just one clean little package, and I think they're pretty decent if you draft them together into a Bibulus in RTA. So now that you guys have seen Schniel in action, let me know in the comments section down below, what do you think of him? Is he still a little bit too reactive, or do you think he can actually initiate certain plays by himself, right, with the help of maybe like an Empyrean Ilinov on your side? Still a proactive approach, right, because you are in control of when you put up your Indomitable buffs in those situations. If you ask me though, I think Schniel is in a much better spot than he was before. I would like to see him in action in RTA, maybe as like a counter pick to Perfume or Bibulus, but I think in most cases it's going to end up as kind of a stalemate. Your opponent is not going to use the skill 3 on the Bibulus, which might be really good. It might help prevent some injury onto your team. It might help prevent you from getting provoked and kind of locked out for a turn, right? But at the same time, your Schniel also might not be doing all that much. With a pursuit set on him though, with some Guardian Ice Crystals, and with him turn cycling, he does provide more utility to the team than Bibulus does. She does have a defense break that she can dual attack with if you soul burn her, and Schniel's soul burn isn't really the greatest thing ever with just an increased barrier strength. But yeah, overall I'd say it's gonna end up becoming a stalemate situation as a counter pick unit. Instead of a 4v4, you're essentially going to end up with like a 3v3, where the rest of your team is going to determine the outcome of the match. He kind of cancels out your opponent's picks, but at that point, you know, it really comes down to the draft and who kind of has the advantage in damage. Because Schniel himself, all his fixed damage is great. You do see that with damage sharing effects, you're not really going to be able to burst down the units that you really want to get rid of. And even though he can hit the opponents through miss, it's fantastic. You still have units like All Bad Ludwig that are a bit more offensive, like you have a bit more control over them, right? Powerful debuffs like Silence and Block, and at the same time you can just detonate for incredible amounts of damage just by using your souls. Schniel is still, I think, a little bit too situational, too conditional. If we see a resurgence in Empyrean Ilinov seeing play, Schniel might not be a decent unit to bring alongside of her. Think of like bringing a Mediator Cowrick to a team, right? Outside of his burst with his skill 2, right, for dealing damage, Schniel's skill 3 is essentially similar in that aspect. A Mediator Coward just kind of sits there, buffs your team, puts immunity up, and pushes up combat readiness, right, with his skill 1, and Schniel kind of does the same. So I think we can put him in the same category of support as Mediator Cowrick, I'd say. And yeah, overall, not too shabby of a unit. Definitely want to see him in RTA though, so if you don't want to miss out on me potentially testing him, or maybe watching some Legend players play with him in backseat battling, then do be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on future videos. And until next time, take care.